Okay. Alright, and we're recording. Okay, so it's been an hour. I didn't really expect it to, but got two or three people watched it, it seems, so better than I thought at least, for the first hour. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to try and make this as fast as I can because I need to go somewhere within. Actually, no, I just realized I have time. I actually have an hour, in fact. Okay, that makes this perfect. But yeah. So today we're going to be going over what happened within those 10 months that Deku was training for UA. So, similar to what happened in canon, Deku, let's just say, let's say Deku goes to a gym and a library. Well, let's no, not a library. Let's say Deku he goes to a gym and he also does some community service, like occasionally picking up some trash he sees, helping clean up some parks and stuff like that. So, after that, news starts spreading around that there's a boy cleaning up a lot of public places. And after that happens, some he gets approached by some pro heroes while he's at the gym. They're kind of shocked to see him because let's just say these are some random pro heroes, but they're they're basically almost like nature heroes. Let's say Komori Woods is one of the heroes that approaches him, and the other one is a different hero. But they approach him and they thank him for all the work he's done, and they ask him if he can help them with something. And he says yes, sure. He'd be happy to help, but he needs to know what it is. So they ask him if he would like to be part of an operation to help clean up Dagobah Beach. Because let's say in this timeline it's actually a lot worse. Because let's say whenever All Might arrived in Japan, a lot of tourists and a lot of local people and local vendors they started setting up at Dagobah Beach, and that was a little time after he showed up. But anyway, Deku goes to the beach with Komori Woods and the other pro hero. And let's just say this other pro hero's quirk is. Hmm. Let's see. Komori Woods has a wood quirk, so it would be another good quirk. Let's see. Not another hardening quirk, because that would be weird. Actually, I don't remember exactly what pro hero it is. Actually, no, let's not say it was that pro hero, but let's just say it's a pro hero that has a strength quirk. So, they would usually try and help stay with Deku to help clean up the beach. They'd be there for about 2 or 3 hours, but they would always get called away to help people in public places nearby because the villains would attack. There'd be that one villain that would probably try something stupid out in public, and they would always get called away. So Deku was basically there cleaning up the beach by himself. And the pro heroes would actually feel kind of bad about this. So let's just say Deku kind of sees Komori Woods at work because let's say a villain attacked nearby the beach, started attacking some people. So Deku actually saw Komori Woods the way use his he would use his arms and extend them out and like try and wrap them around the villains. Let's say Deku, he figures out that he knows how his quirk works, but one thing he does not understand is the way his claws are made. So he figures it might be like Komori Woods. They might grow like wood, but it just runs off a part of my body, like calcium. So after about, let's say, 5 or 6 months, people actually start recognizing Deku whenever he's in public places. And let's say, hmm, I want to say Bakugo, but people would mistake Kirishima for Deku. Let's do that. And whenever people would approach Kirishima and they'd ask him if he was the guy with the hardening quirk that was going around cleaning up the beaches and stuff like that, he would be kind of confused and ask them what they're talking about. And Kirishima would one day go to the beach and see Deku training with Komori Woods, and during that during this time, he would realize he's probably seen Deku around. Let's say Deku goes to different types of gyms to try and figure out which one he would like better for his strength building. And Kirishima's seen him there before, and he remembers Deku because Deku had a lot of muscle on him. So he would actually like kind of look up to Deku a little bit. That's why he at least recognizes him because he's seen him at the gym before. That kind of makes sense to me. But after that, he would go down to the beach and he'd meet Deku and introduce himself. And they find it kind of interesting that their quirks are similar, but how different they are. And Kirishima would join Deku in cleaning up the beach. And after that, they would try and do some combat training because while they're cleaning, they've actually been talking a lot, and they both realize they're going to go to UA and try and get into Class 1A, or at least into 1B to try and be heroes. So let's say since that's happened, actually a lot of people they've been inspired to because of what Deku and Kirishima are doing and all of other pro heroes are doing. So let's just say there's 4 to 5 months the beach got cleaned because a lot of people would have actually pitched in at this point. And after that, they would start. Kirishima and Deku would actually start meeting up at the beach to spar. And Deku would reluctantly tell Kirishima that his quirk might be better because he's seen Komori Woods use the wood in his arms to grow, and he's figured out a way to make like a. Let's just call it like a kind of like a not a pipe, kind of like a pipe made of bone. And Kirishima would actually be surprised at this, so he would try and do something similar, but he can't. He can just harden his bones and his hands into somewhat like claws, but not claws. Just the tips of his fingers are hardened, but they're not tipped. So Kirishima and Deku would train and train and train. And Deku knows that he can create actually a variety of weapons, and along with shooting spikes. Kirishima would actually find that a bit interesting and start asking Deku about his quirk more, but Deku would kind of reluctantly explain it. And Kirishima would kind of understand, but he would still try and cheer Deku up. Oh. So, let's skip to the entrance exam. This time, Deku and Kirishima, well, actually, for studying Deku, him and Rosa would actually study together because she would help him out with some of his schoolwork sometimes. And with that, Deku would actually be a little bit smarter and actually understand it. A lot of what is going on in the test. So Deku, he'd be walking in the UA with Kirishima. They're talking. He doesn't trip this time because he's actually paying attention. Crap. Anyway, after that, Deku scores. Let's say he scores right behind Momo because I think she was number one, if I'm correct. Because she's got the advantage because she needs to know how things are made. Deku just been studying general knowledge. So she'd score 2 or 3 points higher than Deku. Let's say actually like 5 or 6, just to be. Because I don't know how much the questions would be worth. But after that, they're. Wait. Yeah, actually, that makes sense. Because I was going to say, she wasn't in the practical exam, she was just in the recommendation. I can kind of confuse myself because I forgot they had to take a written test too. Anyway. Sorry I keep saying anyways. It's how I think. So we get to the practical, and Deku, his hero outfit is actually not the same as Kirishima's. This is just the picture I can find that was not fan art. I actually saw one hero outfit that actually looked pretty cool, but I don't want to take the picture and use it without the original creator permission. I don't want to just use their outfit as a good example. So Deku is his hero outfit. What he's wearing for the entrance exam is basically it's almost like Kirishima's, but Deku has it's more of a tank top. Well, actually, let's just say this: Deku he just wears a plain tank top and a pair of crap. Superboy wears them. They're like cargo pants. Cargo pants, and he has a utility belt. Why does Deku have a utility belt? Well, because his quirk he can't overdo his quirk if he doesn't have enough calcium. So he would actually carry. Uh, I would say Gogurt to be funny, but that sounds kind of nasty. Just after a while eating hot Gogurt, that probably is a little rotten. That's gross. Anyway, so let's just say he has some like calcium pills, and something else. I don't really know. Calcium pills and some first aid. That's better. Like, he has bandages. Anyway, he has the tank top, the cargo shorts, the utility belt, and he also actually has the same. Well, he just has his hands bandaged around his knuckles, like knuckle wraps, because I know if you use those, you have a less likely chance of breaking your hand. Because I know that boxers use those whenever they're fighting. Okay. Now then, back to this. Deku scores pretty high in the entrance exam, but there's a problem. Deku, he's going at about probably 70% of his power, probably 80, and he's starting to get a little fatigued, so he just He shoots spikes around, taking down a couple 1-pointers, a couple 2-pointers. 3-pointers, he has to actually run around and punch through. But whenever Deku goes to punch, he actually uses all his body weight. So he would leap off of 1 foot and like punch through it. Kind of like a Detroit Smash, but different. After that, Deku, he would see everyone running away from the 0-pointer. And he would figure out that he needs to go, like, get out of there. So he turned to run, but then he'd hear someone calling out for him, like, help. He'd see Uraraka. Uraraka would be there, trapped under some rubble. So Deku, he would try and run in as fast as he can, but he actually goes up to 100%. But there's a drawback to going that far. At 100% of his power, his bones, the illness that his quirk has, that's a side effect, will actually start running throughout his body and start trying to fuse them together. So Deku, he would be 6 times stronger, more durable, and faster. Whenever Deku gets up to this point, he's running. He's running normally, like probably around 20, 25 miles. Because I know Ida can go like 120, so that's like probably a fifth of Ida's speed. He's going pretty fast, but as soon as he cranks himself up to that high, he is just fast. Ida is surprised. He thinks like, does he have an enhancement quirk? What's going on? He was punching through everything just a minute ago. I thought he had a hardening quirk. So Deku, whenever he does this, he's actually shooting spikes at the 0-pointer's legs. And these spikes, they're 6 times larger. Because one thing Deku, his fighting style is based on at 100%, is projectiles. He shoots projectiles as much as he can to try and stop his bones from fusing together. So he runs over there. He essentially throws the rubble that's on Uraka aside, ripping through it and getting as much of it off of her as he can and getting her to run. Then he basically he runs back over to Ida, well, nearby Ida, and he drops her off. Then he goes back in and he destroys the 0-pointer. Like, at this mode, he basically goes in and he's attacking the 0-pointer's legs. He's going for the, like, behind the knee, he's going for the joints. He's just attacking whatever he thinks is a weakness. And he's tearing through it. By the time is up, the 0-pointer is just laying on the ground, torn to shreds, like unrecognizable. And Deku, he screams as loud as he can in victory. He's happy because he's never gone that far in a fight before, and he had the time of his life. But then Deku all of a sudden just stops. Like, he stops making sound entirely. So people go and he's just standing there. People go over and check on Uraka, and Recover Girl heals her. And then they try and get Deku's attention, but whenever they walk over to Deku, they realize that he's passed out, but he's still standing. They're thinking that he either has a lot of resolve to keep on fighting until he passed out, or that he just got lucky standing there. But what really happened is whenever Deku tried going down from 100%, anytime he stands still when at 100%, his bones can nearly fuse together almost completely. So whenever he stopped to try and power down, his bones just immediately fused together. his knees fused together and with his femur, and everything below his waist fused together, even a part of his spine. And whenever they try and get his attention and wake him up, Deku, he falls over and he breaks something. He breaks probably a part of his femur and his right kneecap, and he has to explain what happens after he gets healed by Recovery Girl. He has to explain what his quirk is. And Recovery Girl is kind of reluctant to believe Deku, but after going over medical files, she kind of believes him. Because I want to say she's probably seen a quirk like this before. Something like this, like kind of like One for All, but it's powerful. Kind of like One for All, but it's kind of more drawbacks. Let's say that. All right, and that is gonna do it for this part. This is gonna be part two, and next time I'll be covering part three. I'll probably have enough time to cover um Mr. not Mr. Eraserhead's entry entry test and the villain attack. But anyways, that is gonna do it for this part.